With Wimbledon literally right around the corner, let's look at some contenders in this year's Wimbledon Championships. What's up, everybody? It's John Eric Pola continuing some Wimbledon coverage here. In today's video, we're going to look at contenders on the women's side of things. Now, these ladies aren't favorites, but they are absolutely contenders. They are going to be right in the mix of things. I will have a favorites video and a prediction video coming up later on here in the week, but for the time being, let's kick off this contenders list with a hot take. Coco Gauff, the world number 2. Now, I know what you're saying. John, how could you put the world number 2 into the contenders list and not into the favorite list? Well, let me tell you why. Last year, Gauff lost in the very first round of this tournament. Now, I know what happened afterwards. She changed coaches. She had a great U.S. Open. She's been very consistent since then. She just competed for in the semifinals of the French Open. But here's the thing. Looking at Wimbledon, never made a quarterfinal. Now, I'm confident that she'll be a lot better this year at Wimbledon. I bet you she's definitely going to get out of the first round this year at Wimbledon. But still, just that success really hasn't been there at Wimbledon. That's the reason why I put her into the contender category and not into the favorites category. Now, next one, you might be able to argue that it's a little bit of a hot take as well, as I have Ons Jabeur as the next contender to talk about. Now, I get it. Jabeur, a 2-time finalist here at Wimbledon. In fact, made the last 2 finals at Wimbledon. Last year, everybody expected her to win last year's Wimbledon final, of course, falling to Marketa Vondrousova. Now she's coming off a French Open quarterfinal, which gives her a lot of momentum coming into this year. So all of a sudden, it's like, well, John, how isn't she in the favorites? Well, it's been a bad 2024 for Ons Jabeur. That's a quarterfinal at the French. Those types of performances in these tournaments are very far and few between. Jabeur's losing very early into tournaments. This is going to be a very big tournament for the mental side of Ons Jabeur as well. A lot of people are expecting her to make a deep run in this year's Wimbledon Championship. She better find some momentum here building off of that French Open because it hasn't been a pretty 2024 for Ons Jabeur. All right, let's get to the next person. Jessica Pegula, another American, somebody who plays a lot of doubles with Coco Gauff. Those ladies, of course, going to be playing together at the Olympics. Pegula just actually beat Gauff in the lead up to Wimbledon. She has a very underrated power game. She did just win a tournament, too, in the lead up to Wimbledon. I should mention that as well, but definitely has that underrated power game. Definitely has the game to do something here on grass. Health going to be a little bit of a factor this year. She hasn't been healthy at times this year. She split up with her coach earlier in the year. Big chance to kind of turn everything around. For this little bit of a rough stretch that's been here in 2024, Pegula could turn that all around with a big tournament here. She's looking very good in the lead up to Wimbledon. Excited to see Pegula back on the courts. Hopefully Pegula making a deep run at this year's Wimbledon. Last person I want to talk about here today is going to be Danielle Collins. Collins is actually having a very good 2024. Let's not forget that, guys. She pushed Iga Swiatek to the brink at the Australian Open. I know losing very early because he had such a low seed coming into that Australian Open, but just building so nicely throughout it. She wins the Miami Open, kind of when the hard court season was starting to wrap itself up. Then she wins in Charleston to start off the clay season. Had a very good clay season. Let's not forget going 3 sets with Irina Sabalenka twice in the clay season, losing at Madrid and the Italian Open, had a semifinal appearance there in that Italian Open. Very disappointing French Open for Danielle Collins, but still, she has the game to do it. She has the power game. She has a lot of aces this year with 154 on the year. Big thing here, never made it past a third round at Wimbledon. Grass hasn't been necessarily favorable to her, but with her game, she absolutely could make a run at this year's Wimbledon Championships. Now, listen, I know there's a lot of other names out there that we could talk about. That'll be fun. Mention those guys in the comments. I want to hear what you guys think. Again, these ladies aren't necessarily the favorites, but absolutely contenders. Now, I had a video with some long shots. We just had contenders. Like I said in the beginning, going to have more coverage here. We're going to look at favorites. We're going to have official prediction coming up here as the week rolls on. So make sure you guys are continuing to check out that coverage right here.